Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome back to another Vital Cards video. Today we have my first Dallas Card Show pickups. I just attended my first Dallas Card Show this March, and it was definitely what it looked like in other videos on YouTube. It was a little bit overwhelming for me because I'm used to a show with 40, 50, maybe 60 tables in my local card show versus hundreds of tables at the Dallas show, thousands of people walking around. So it was a little overwhelming at first, but once I got my bearings, it was a lot easier to handle. And there's so much to look at that it's hard. If you don't have a plan, you can kind of get lost. But because I was a little overwhelmed, it's just really easy to just look for soccer cards because they stick out like a sore thumb. Once as much as I've seen them. So that's kind of find tables that had those in the showcase, or you just glance through showcases as you go by. Maybe you see a player you're familiar with, team, and whatnot, and then you can strike up a conversation. Yeah, otherwise it's a good experience. I'm glad I went, and I would definitely go back, and I think I'd have more confidence going back and not be as timid or feeling lost. So one of the first cards I found was a guy who had some soccer. I just saw him in a value box, and it's also a lot easier when the dealers have those value boxes because you can, if they're open, you can just walk up and you can start sorting through them. But I found this Cristiano Ronaldo multicolor prism from 2016 Select Soccer, and I was seeing a few for sale for $40 and he had it for $5. So I just picked that up to break the ice on the show, calm my nerves a little bit, and knew it was at least a good player and a good card. These aren't the most common. I think they're less common than the silvers from that set. So second year Select. Then next some guy had like prices as marked, and he had these two Brett Favres from EX2 and EX. So I saw these, and then there was a Tyreek Hill autograph for like $50, and I was like, wow, that's a good deal. And I almost bought the Tyreek, but when I looked on the back, it was from Playton's patches, but it had chipping on the edges, so I knew it's not like a grade-worthy Tyreek Hill, so I didn't really want to pick it up. And I was kind of curious about these, so I just looked on CO and ComC, and they were going for like $253. So he had 10 on them, and I asked for 5 if he'd do 5, and he didn't really want to, but I said, that's fine, I'll walk away, and then he agreed. So sometimes you just gotta show. I learned, I don't want to pay more than what I can get him somewhere else. So I'm fine walking away, and he didn't want to lose the sale, so he made a deal. Just a couple of Favres there. In the end, probably spent too much time at that table, but it's okay. Just because he had a lot of good stuff, it's just the prices, like I said, I didn't really know what I was looking at, or stuff didn't really intrigue me. So next, I traded one card for these 5 cards. So I was walking past the dealer, he said hi, I said hello, kind of thing. Just, trying to get interest to his table, and found out he's a Tim Duncan collector. Or I went into the show looking for George Brett and Nolan Ryan autographs, and he's like, oh, I don't have an autograph, but I have this George Brett, which is pretty sharp for 1984 card. So he showed me that, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, who do you collect? And he said he's Spurs guy, San Antonio. Big Tim Duncan, and I had a Tim Duncan I had brought with me to trade. So I ended up pulling that out, and he was interested in it. So he said, I could, find some stuff to trade for, so this is what I got. So I wanted this George Brett that he showed me. Is looking pretty good for a vintage, so might grade it, but it's for the PC. Might have one of this already, I'm not sure, but this one looked pretty good condition, so I picked that up. Next, I found this former Kansas Jayhawk Marcus Morris, and I didn't realize it was a rookie at the time, but I just knew it was an autograph. So happy to pick that up. Some Panini past and present. Next, I got this Tyreek Hill Vestige out of 100, the orange from Luminance. Just a cool card for my Chiefs PC. So it's really nice. You can trade, you know, they get something they want, you can get some stuff you want, and then just some things I might flip here with a Peyton Manning player worn, and it has the Super Bowl logo, and he's championship fabric. But I don't believe it's game worn. It just says player worn, guaranteed. And then a Sweet Stitches Kevin Garnett from Upper Deck. I believe this was, yep, game used. So Kevin Garnett is pretty popular. Or at least, you know, was a star of the early 2000s and late 90s. I'd say not the early 2000s to 2010, around there. So picked up his. Might be able to flip those and get a little bit more cash easier. Just smaller price points than the Duncan. And then next I was going through another value box and found this for my collection of Jayhawks, Ochai Agbaji from Draft Picks Chronicles, I believe. And I didn't, most of the prices on here I didn't pay. Oh, Immaculate Collection Collegiate, not Chronicles. Okay, that's cool. Out of 25, the red, just for the PC. So I picked this one out, and then I found an MJ Melendez for the Royals rookie autograph from Topps Tribute, or is it Tribute or Threads? Wait. Doesn't really matter too much, but out of 99, rookie auto, kind of looking for his stuff. And then also found this Darwin Nunez Red Mojo from World Cup Prism. And so I kind of looked up some stuff and probably made an offer about 60% of what he had marked, and he was okay with that just to get rid of it. So I inadvertently bought this one because I was like, well, I'm just gonna, it's kind of a low ball, but below comps a little bit, and he didn't want to comp it out or anything. He just accepted it, so worked out in my favor. I get cards I want. He gets rid of 3 cards that, you know, need KU fan, probably need a Royals fan, unless you're from Daytona Beach, Florida. Maybe he's your hometown guy. So next I found another table that had soccer, and the story on this one, he asked who I collected, and I told him, you know, Lewandowski, Mbappe, Messi, Drogba, Thierry Henry. And he's like, well, I have a Lewandowski, but it's in the car. So I had to wait. I had to walk around and wait for him to be able to go to his car and get this. I guess he didn't bring it in with him. But when I came back, he made me a pretty good deal on it. It was lower than the last one that sold on eBay. So I was pretty happy with that. And it's for the PC, this Mosaic Genesis from the World Cup Mosaic for Lewandowski. So glad to add that one. This show was pretty much kind of like go and find some PC stuff and not have to pay shipping or sales tax. Was nice. All right, next up, I was at a table and they had bought a collection from a collector who had a bunch of Nolan Ryan stuff. He had collected Nolan Ryan, and I was looking for a Nolan Ryan autograph, so I ended up finding one. And look. This is one of the only ones I didn't look up the comp, but I overpaid by about $30. But I got it. Game used, authentic game jersey, and an on-card autograph. So I got that, and then he made me a little deal because I was like, well, what if I pick something else out? And he's like, oh, I could take a little off. So I was able to find this Justin Ross. He was an undrafted rookie for the Chiefs, gold standard autograph, in case he does anything this next year, since he didn't really play this year. So got a couple cards from that dealer and was happy. 2 players I was looking for and autographs. And then next up, I found a table that had a lot of, Bowman prospects, and it turns out it is future baseball stars today. So they're from Overland Park, Kansas, and didn't have any Royals on the table, but I just asked. He said, try me. So I said Royals, and then I found out he's from Kansas City. So of course he had some Royal stuff. So I found this Bowman Chrome Gold first auto for Carter Jensen out of 50, one of their top prospects. And so, he told me the price, and I kind of thought about it, so I walked around and came back for it. Just thought it was a good deal towards the end of the show. So happy to be able to make a deal for that. And then next up is one of the last deals I did. Got Erling Haaland Obsidian out of 195. It is an HGA, but they have good subgrades, so I know nothing's like... HGA is not the most popular, but at least the subgrades are at least a good guidance, and I don't feel the need to crack it out and resub it somewhere else. Not a quick flip. He's going to have, hopefully, a good long career ahead of him. And this one, I didn't have the cash, but he was interested in some of the other stuff I brought for trade. So I probably traded him 8 cards for this and some cash. So I actually got a little bit of cash out of the deal and I was able to trade up in a way. So really happy to be able to make a deal with him. I'm not sure if he had an Instagram or not. Didn't give me a business card or anything, but happy to get a Haaland. And this Obsidian was like the first soccer set I got into. So happy to get that. And then the last deal I made was a good one. I found another guy that had mostly soccer, and he had a Thierry Henry autograph from World Cup Mosaic. And kind of had some long negotiation with him over it. He told me a price, and I walked away. Not in a bad way, but just like, yeah, I'll think about that. Might be interested, but it came back to it right before I left, and it was still there. So kind of made him a counter offer, and we met in the middle a little bit, and that way, paid a little bit more than what just a little bit more, like $10 more than I wanted to. But I got the card today, that day, and didn't have to worry about shipping. And he didn't make a profit, but he didn't lose money on the card, kind of situation. He breaks even, and I get a card for my collection. That's kind of my advice. If it's something you're gonna keep for your collection, don't be afraid to pay a little bit over comp if you can't replace it cheaper. So happy man to get some big cards for my personal collection and maybe future flips. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and probably be a while before I make it back to another Dallas card show or show that size, but in the meantime, I'll keep grading and flipping and collecting. Of course, going to local shows. So appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.